Hello, Leo. Welcome to your August connection session. Whoa. I am Princess India. If you're new and if you're family, welcome back, my friend, and what's not all whatever. So we're going to be looking at the energy between you as well as a person of interest. And then we're going to be getting into another spread. We're going to be looking at how this person thinks as well as feels about you. I need to move all of this stuff that I have out of the way. So starting out, the overall energy for Leo for the month of August, we have the Six of Cuppies. So what it is looking like, Leo, in reference to your person of interest, I could say there's the potential that there's a lack thereof of communication between the two of you, because it could be that you guys are kind of reminiscing on, a time where things between the two of you were different. And I feel compelled to say somewhat better than they are now. So it's more or less missing the way that your person used to be, or the way that things used to be between the two of you. And that quite possibly could be because at present you guys are either not communicating with each other. And if you are communicating with each other, it very well could just be that you guys have kind of hit a bit of a rough patch. Now, with your person of interest, okay, well, this is a good thing. We have the 10 of Pentacles. Sorry, I'm covering up naked people. So with your person of interest, they are very much focused on themselves, their own happiness, their own kind of self-care and things of the sort. And kind of looking at this quite possibly could be the reason why you guys are feeling like things have kind of changed. So this could be anything from this person just taking care of themselves, like if they got back in the gym, or if they're focusing more on their career. So it could kind of fall in under any category, you know what I mean? Not just them, taking care of just their physical self, right? It could be them focused on finances or, advancing in work. And that particular shift kind of happening with this person could be why you feel like something has changed between the two of you. Now, the energy, oh, that's interesting. The energy between the two of you, gosh, okay, both of them. We have the Wheel of Fortune, and that's fixed sign energy. So that's Taurus, Scorpio, Aquarius, as well as Leo, which is you guys. So with the Wheel of Fortune, this is kind of saying to me the energy between the two of you, your relationship is kind of going through a transformation, if I could say it that way. It's kind of a new season. So more or less, how things have been for you and your person of interest up until this particular time was one way. Now things have shifted and there's a big difference in the relationship. And what it's looking like to me is that with your person, they're the ones that have kind of changed, if I could say it that way. They've shifted what their focus is. So, it could be them, you guys spending umpteen time together, you know what I mean? Like always hanging out, always going places, every, Friday, every weekend, they're always available. And now that kind of shifting. So you're in a new cycle, in a new season in your relationship. In my personal opinion, I would say it's like potentially being in the working phase of a relationship. So like when you first start a relationship and everything's all lovey-dovey, right? But when you get into that working stage, that's when you start kind of seeing shifts and changes, or having challenges with kind of compromising with each other. And it just looks to me that Leo is kind of desiring the way that things were before this kind of shift happened. Now, getting more insights into this, gosh, I have stuff all over the place. We're going to be looking at how they think and feel about you. So our first card out for your person of interest, we have the Four of Wands. Then we have the Ace of Wands. And then we have the Ace of Cuppies. Oh, okay. Interesting. And then in their conscious thoughts, we have the Sun card, and that's Leo energy. Leo, I'm going to be honest, this looks kind of good, okay? It looks kind of good. So with this Four of Wands here, this person does see a potential for security and stability with you. more or less, and of course this is stuff that they're weighing, so it's like they're seeing you as someone that possesses a great deal of potential to build a future with, right, or to have some sense of stability with. So not necessarily saying that they're thinking marriage and kids and all the things, and not saying that they're not thinking that, but it's just the fact of you feel more or less like home to them in so many words. So they see you as like a stable partner. Now, with this Ace of Wands, they do feel that there's a shift. And I can say that with this Ace of Cups as well. It's more or less them seeing the potential for this relationship to grow into something. And that's on both sides. So it's whether them seeing you as like a viable partner in a very tangible sense. And I'm going to use this example. I don't know what y'all are into business wise, but say, what's a good example? I don't know why graphic design like popped in my head. And I'm sitting here trying to think, I'm like, what pairs with a graphic designer? Let's just say like you're into marketing, right? Like say you're really into like marketing and PR, and like, you know, your person of interest is like really into graphic design, right? And it's like if the two of you went into business together, you could handle all of the, you know, marketing ideas, all the PR stuff, and then they're able to kind of translate that into graphics and stuff like that. Not saying that's literally the case, but just as an example. So with this Ace of Wands, it's like they're seeing potential of like the partnership between you two being able to grow into something that's tangible in so many words. And with this Ace of Cups, it's seeing the potential of this really growing into like a deep, loving relationship, right? Now, with looking at this, with this Four of Wands showing up as well as the Ace of Wands and the Ace of Cups, that kind of tells me that where you guys' relationship is, this isn't a relationship where you guys have been together for like 5 years or something, right? This, and I wouldn't say that this is like super new, like you guys just started dating. I mean, that's possible, but I feel like this is a connection between two people to where you guys haven't been together for like years. So this is like fairly new. So in their fleeting thoughts, the stuff that they're kind of weighing is that they're seeing you as a viable partner that they could potentially see a future with. And that's even more so grounded with the Sun card, because it's them really seeing you as someone who's a great match for them. So when it comes to who they are externally as well as internally, which is what I'm also seeing in this Ace of Wands as well as this Ace of Cups, it's like they feel the two of you mesh well together. You know, it's like you're a great match for them for what their desires and aspirations are as an individual. And then like commonalities that the two of you have, like things that you guys have in common or things that you like to do. They see you as an ideal person for them. And this is really good. So one thing I can say, and I don't want to speak too soon because I didn't turn over the last two cards yet, but I think this is good because looking at this energy that Leo is in, you know, it's not really necessary. You know what I mean? It's desiring for the way that things used to be, but it's more or less your relationship is growing into something that, you know, can actually well, I'm going to say that has the potential to grow into something that would be beneficial for the two of you, especially if your person of interest is taking this 10 of Pentacles to kind of get their shit together. You know what I mean? If they're trying to get their ducks in a row because they're thinking, oh, you know, if I'm going to be with Leo, I need to be stable. I need to be secure. So that would be a wise thing to say, okay, let me focus on getting, you know, my affairs in order so that I'm able to, you know, provide something for Leo or bring something to the table, contribute to the relationship, what have you, right? Now, their subconscious impression. Ooh, child. Oh, this is interesting. Well, she's not too naked. We have the Page of Pentacles. So here's the thing. This is where I think some of the fear or challenges that you guys could potentially be having would come from, because with this, your person isn't a committal kind of person. So if you're looking at their romantical history, you would see their track record is that they either haven't been in relationships for very long, or the relationships that they've had have been kind of shallow. You know what I mean? And because I'm getting this vibe of how can I say this? It's like two different things I'm picking up on of how their past relationships looked. Like if this person was in a committed relationship, how it would, and you would have to, you would either have to be very keen to detail, or you would have to know this person or know people that know this person to probably get this much information, unless you just kind of pick up on it intuitively for what it is that I'm seeing. But it's like the vibe I get, if this person, and this is just specifically if this person was in like a long-term past relationship or like has kids with someone or something like that, it's like from the outside looking in, the relationship would seem as if it was super deep or they were like super connected, but behind that facade, it was a very shallow connection, or even maybe like a marriage of convenience, or a connection of convenience. You know what I mean? Like the person that they were with, and I'm saying specifically, this is only if they were in a relationship for a while, the person that they were with were in possession of something that they needed, kind of thing, but not really so much like the person was using them. It's just kind of like they started dating the person's like, hey, you're sleeping on a couch. You know what I'm saying? Like, you should just live with me. You know what I mean? Like that kind of vibe I get. And I don't know why I'm picking up on all of this. That's strange. It's like the vibe I get with the person they were with, past tense, and maybe this is, I don't know. I'm not a Leo, so I don't know why I be trying to make sense of the stuff that I be hearing, y'all. Because I'm like, where is this even relevant that I'd be picking up on all of this? But I suppose for you guys, it would be like an identifying factor. But this person's last relationship, it's like the person they were with, like, noticed a weakness in them or something. So like kind of realizing something that they didn't have. So they didn't have a place to live. They didn't have a car. They didn't have a job or something like that. And this person put themselves into the position to be the solution for this person's problem. Like I was saying before, like, oh, you don't have to sleep on a couch. Like, you could just stay with me. Or, oh my gosh, you lost your job. Like, I can get you hired at my job, or I own this business. You can work for me. You know what I'm saying? Or like, I have 2 cars. You can like drive my car. I work from home. Like, you can totally use my car because I'm not using it. It's almost like that vibe I'm picking up on with their past person. And okay, so that's what it's leading to. So with this person, your person of interest, there is a certain guardedness to them, because their perception of people is in the arena of like people taking advantage of them type of vibe. So with your person, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. So your person is like kind of guarded. So there is a level of distance I think you would feel, Leo, and it would predate this kind of shift that happened between the two of you. You more or less would be feeling with your person, not that they're completely icing you out, but that there's kind of some level of like hard boundaries that they keep up to a certain extent, or feeling like they're not fully letting you in. It's almost like, they give you a little bit here and there, but they're not like, open chest, like this is my life story kind of vibe. But where this is coming from is from them kind of being taken advantage of in the past. But the specific thing about the person that they dealt with before, I don't necessarily feel that the person had like malicious intentions. In my therapist's head, this just sounds like to me somebody who's a little out of codependent, like a person who's too fearful to be direct and ask for what they want. So it's like they kind of orchestrate connections with people where the person is like dependent and reliant upon them. And if a person is dependent and reliant upon them, then that prevents the person for leaving them. You know what I'm saying? And that's a whole nother animal I could lecture on for like an hour. But with the person of interest finding out, like kind of realizing what it is that they were in, of like, dang, if I leave, I'm homeless. If I leave, I don't have a job. If I leave, I don't have a car, and them staying in it. That's what I mean, bringing it back to the whole facade. Like from the outside looking in, it could look like it was a super deep relationship, but behind all of that, it's almost like, that's why I say like marriage of convenience. It's some type of vibe like that, but that has your person on guard. So when it comes to um their subconscious projection side of this, it's them kind of looking at you side-eyed, and I feel that's what brings us back to their overall energy being the 10 of pentacles, is like why they're self-focused. Because what this would look like to me is them kind of getting deep in with you and starting to like feel for you and see the potential for a relationship with you. I feel that almost acted like a trigger for this person. You know what I mean? And it triggers them to think about like, this person or all these people that I've dealt with past tense, like they've kind of taken advantage of me. You know what I mean? Or tried to control me in some way, shape, form, or fashion. So that kind of triggers them to be like, okay, I need to be on my guard, which is why it's like, I need to focus on myself, because right now in my life, I need to get myself stable. I need to make sure my finances are straight. I need to make sure I stay on my workout regimen and not allow another person that's coming into my life to kind of throw me off kilter. So it's like their guards go up a little bit more and there's a little bit, more distance that's created. So it's almost their projection of you is like being suspicious of your intentions, right? And this makes sense to me because looking at what their fleeting and conscious thoughts are, it's like it's very positive, but it's almost like they like you so much and see so much potential in you. It triggers them because every time I felt this way about someone, it's never really turned out, well, in so many words, right? And on the other side of this, if there's not like, a big relationship, about with this particular person, they wouldn't necessarily have a long history of being in partnerships. It's kind of like them dating around in so many words. Now, with that particular person, if you know them to be not like a F boy, but just someone who may say a lot like, oh, I haven't committed to anyone because I'm waiting for the right one. I know what I'm looking for. It's a certain type of, woman that I'm looking for, whatever. Like that type of person. The interesting thing with that person is their projection onto you is almost seeing themselves in you. So it's them being suspicious of like if they, usually have like a lot of different people that they date and they kind of keep their options open. They're kind of looking at you side-eyed like, is that what you're doing? Like if they have 5 other chicks they're talking to, they're wondering if you have 5 other dudes that you're talking to. But it's that same kind of feeling of distance. But with them, it's more or less, I like them, I'm feeling them. That kind of scares me. You know what I mean? It's a whole narrative with them too. What you would know with them, where this is someone who's been single for an extended period, you would have to pay attention to what they're saying in conversation. Because in conversation, I feel they would be saying a lot of stuff like making women like a monolith. You know what I mean? Is or making little comments about like that's how women be and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? That's how you would kind of know this person. So with them, it's just literally scary for them at the fact that they're feeling you and their defense mechanism is let me focus back on myself because I really don't know what their intentions are, right? Now their feelings towards you. Oh, well, okay. She's not too naked, but let me cover up her bum. We have the 6 of Wands. So the whole thing is with this person, it's like they feel a very strong, like magnetic kind of attraction to you. And how can I say this? I'm trying to say it, but not say it because I'm trying to, all the words that are coming to my mind to say are not necessarily appropriate. I'll just stick with magnetic. Okay. It's more or less like a huge, strong, magnetic, like very sensual, like sexual kind of attraction that this person has to you. And it feels very much like a intoxicating kind of thing y'all got going on where you're like in this person's presence and it's like, I just want to breathe their oxygen, is the kind of vibe that I get from this. I know that may sound hella weird, but another thing is they see you as very beautiful, very gorgeous, very like, it girl, it guy, it person, you know what I'm saying? And there's a sense of pride that this person feels like with dealing with you, you know what I mean? Like with being able to have you like on their arm, like they feel very good about that. The only downside that I would say about this, but I'm really not too concerned because of what's in their conscious thoughts, is I don't really like to see anything other than cups in their feeling space, because with this being wands, it really speaks to, like I was saying, a very physical, very sexual kind of chemistry attraction type of thing. So it's like very external focus, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but there's the potential for, especially with those of you where I said the person being like single, you know what I'm saying, for a while, it's them kind of, well, there's the potential there for this person to, how can I say that? It's not love bombing, it's not that, but it's like a person who's really into like the chase. You know what I mean? It's like, because there's some people who are just built that way. They're really into the chase. Like you see a person that's gorgeous, and it's like this whole thing of like, how can I get their attention? How can I get them to like kind of pay attention to me? You know what I mean? Can I get her? Can I get him? But it's like once they get you, it's like they lose interest. And it's not really so much that they're losing interest in you. It's just that once they've conquered a thing and they have it, they lose interest. Do I think that that's healthy? Not at all. But there are some people who are like that. So that's a little concerning for me with this being in the feeling space. But how I would say, like, my advice would be moving forward with something like this, you just have to be conscious and mindful of their behavioral pattern. So how I'm seeing this with this person and this little snapshot of reality that we're getting right now, they are self-focused. I do feel it's because there is a bit of a trigger with them for, these two varied reasons, whether, of a past relationship they were in or them being single. It's kind of like a fear of vulnerability. It's a fear of opening up. But the advice that I would give is, if this isn't something that's temporary, like meaning, a month from now, like this doesn't seem to change, like it seems like more distance is created, then that's something that you kind of want to have your antennas up for. But with seeing that this is fairly new and you guys are like in this working stage, this is something that I see all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like people who are newly connected kind of go through this phase, but it's that thing that clicks when they realize like this is the person and they kind of snap out of it. You know what I'm saying? So I just say keep an eye on it, but overall it's looking pretty good. The only way that this becomes like a thing that you got to watch for is if this like continues past like a month. So when my connection sessions come up for September, if they're still on this type of time, then that's when it's like you got to kind of start reevaluating. You feel what I'm saying? But anywho, I'm going to go ahead and throw the dice of resonance. Go ahead and ask a yes or no question. I'm trying to keep these kind of short, so I'm doing good. All right, we have Pisces, rising, male, Taurus, ask again, and Bay. So your whatever it is you asked, it has something to do with that. Pisces, male, Taurus, rising, and it's somebody who's your Bay. The dice said ask again, so ask your yes or no question again. The answer to your question is no, ma'am. No, ma'am. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see it yet. It says no, ma'am, is the answer to your question. So that has been your connection session, Leo. Most certainly let me know what you think. That is so weird. I totally just paused myself. But anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. As always, I love your freaking face, and I will see you guys sooner than later, my friends.